Dio is one of the most mysterious characters within JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, and today I want to talk about something that is very under talked about within this community. Dio's diary. Now hold on, you may be saying all we know about his diary is everything we got from Jotaro's memories and everything that Pucci did, but what if I told you there was a spin-off about Dio's diary? It's essentially a transcribed version of it. The Speedwagon Foundation did it. They used Josuke Higaskata to restore it. It's really interesting. I've read the entire thing and I'll give y'all a little summary because some of y'all asked for it. And then tomorrow I'll give y'all the summary on Infinity King because that's also been asked for whenever I posted a short or a video mentioning it. Now, I will not go through all 80 chapters, but you can find all 80 chapters online through links. If you need a link, let me know. I will look for it and try to give it to you. But it has very interesting things within it, like for example how Dio got into the coffin during the shipwreck in part 1. He believes Arena pulled him in to the coffin along with her and the baby, because in his own words, his memory was very hazy. He felt like he couldn't move and he did not know what to do. He even comments on how he sees his mom, Arena, and Polnareff's sister as all the same type of women, which is a very noble and strong and pitiful in his words. Now within this diary, you can see him basically talk about everything in his life, basically from the start all the way down, even with the start being him talking about his family life with his mom and his father, and how much he hated his father and how much he was so angry at his mom for staying with his father after he was an awful and abusive and alcoholic man. And one thing to comment about Dio's mother is that's really what set him on the idea or the path of heaven, because his mom will always say, be noble and righteous and good and you will go to heaven. And Dio then comments on how he more so took to his father's evil nature and how he saw his mom, a religious and smart person, as doing charity work for his father, leading to him being like, oh yeah, she probably didn't even get into heaven, which is pretty cold. This is where Dio goes even more into heaven, and he thinks that he may be doing this for his mother's will, basically. Then he also thinks about his own mom and his own life, saying that he felt like her righteousness was akin to the abuse he faced at his father, but at least his father was honest. He then says he believes that her idea of heaven was a way for her to cope with her evil and sad life, and then he thinks that maybe her dying was for the better, because even if she didn't reach his idea or thoughts of heaven, Dio's, she at least escaped the awful hell that was her life. In chapter 3, we get more into what we know in part 6 about him trying to find a friend and realizing that he can't do it with the world. And in chapter 4 is when we finally get him to talk about his father and basically all the evil feelings he felt towards him. He realized that his mother did not get beat because of her righteousness, but just because his father was wicked. He then decided that because his father would beat him for no valid reason, he would just go work hard and earn money so his father would have booze money. But that didn't stop the beatings or even slow them down. And to make money, he used the education that his mom gave him, and that was the first time he ever felt thankful for his mother after her death. And then it was only in chapter 6 that's where he realized Dario had to go. That's when Dario told him to pawn his own mother's dress. Now, this was in the manga, I'm pretty sure it was in the part 1 manga, but that was and is the deciding factor. Dio decided that, yeah, I'm just going to kill him. And he decided that his father was scum from there on. We also get his inner thoughts about meeting Darby for the first time, where he was just like, oh, maybe Darby could be the friend. Nah, gamblers don't have pure souls. Darby's stand is also where Dio gets the idea that he would need 36 souls to help him reach his heaven's plan, because he had served that Osiris, his whole ability was just taking your soul and ripping your soul out of your body after a game. Next 3 chapters follow the same pattern. Dio talking about how he coldly just killed his father like it was doing a chore, and he felt no real satisfaction from it because he wanted to do it with his own bare hands instead of waiting for him to die. And in chapter 10 is where he employs the Darby brothers in order to help him look for the souls of 36 sinners, as he felt like the sinners' souls held more power than, well, the saints. This is also where he talks about his disappointment in the flesh buds making Kakyoin and Polnareff weaker, slightly weaker, and their stands not being as potent. And he also comes up with the 14 phrases we see in part 6, which I am not going to repeat to you but put up on the screen. Now from chapter 11 to 14, which I'm going to stop after 14, but this is where we get some more very interesting things, where he talks about how his father only left a path for him to get to heaven, and he thought his father may get to heaven for that one singular good action he did. But in 12 and 13 is when he finally acknowledges the Joestars and how he feels like he's being watched by them, because Hermit Purple, as dubbed by Inya, which is announced as Jonathan's stand, is the same stand as Joseph's, and he feels like he can feel the connection between them because he has his body. So he sent Kakyoin over to the mainland to fucking kill them. Yes, we are at that point in part 3, which, if you remember, Kakyoin had no fucking luck because it's Jotaro. This is also where he admits that he did not keep up with the Joestars, so he has no idea how strong they are, and he had only heard about Jonathan's son who was killed by a zombie, so he thought maybe, just maybe, they're a weak bloodline. Oh boy, was he wrong. But he also ordered for some blood to be taken because he felt like Jonathan's body would be accustomed to it. And this is where we get to chapter 14, where he talks about the mother of his children and how he revealed he had children and how he fucking picked awful mothers. It says he slept with a number of women and impregnated those that in his eyes had potential, thinking about a possible abortion or miscarriage from the mother's part. Dio thinks that the eviler they are, the better mother they would be, and thus let them go on carrying his own descendants, certain that they would help him get to heaven in several decades. And ironically, most of them kinda were trying to help him get to heaven several decades later. Say what you want, but Poochie and Dio were technically fused by the end of part 6. Now I'm going to end the video here because I'm not going through every of the 80 chapters, but if you did enjoy this video, you can read all of this online, or you can just read the summaries if you just want the fun facts. It's whatever, but until next time, peace.